I shall pray to begin. I fully and freely forgive. I loose and let go. I let go and let my I am presence and body elemental do its perfect work in me, through me, for me, as me. I let go and let my I am presence and body elemental do its perfect work in the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious activities of my mind, body, and affairs. I give thanks that infinite peace within me, infinite health within me, infinite supply within me, infinite love within me, and infinite joy within me reign supreme in me and in my world. I place this into law knowing it is so, and so it is. First of all, I want to thank Ashley for that music. That was very, very timely. I had nothing to do with it, but as we know, spirit helps us all when we decide to be guided as opposed to being pushed. Initially, I told Reverend Mizzy I felt pushed, and that's what I did feel. I felt pushed, but I do know that being pushed oftentimes allows us to be guided. It places us in a position to be guided. Today I want to engage you in a way that we don't ordinarily do. I don't have anything new to tell you. I don't have any how-tos to tell you. I am going to just share with you the insight that I've gained along the way on my journey and how to create a new movie. So what I'd ask you to do is to sit back for a second and close your eyes and listen and follow me on an interactive visionary walk into a theater house where there are 12 showrooms. When you walk into the first showroom, the movie is just beginning. You immediately see that the star of the movie is you as a baby. You see all your supporting cast, your mother, your father, your brothers, sisters, your grandparents, uncles and aunts from both sides of your family who are happy about your arrival among them. As the movie rolls, you see yourself growing right before your eyes. You see you learn to roll over from your back to your stomach. You see you learn to hold your bottle and then crawl. As you move to your seat with your eyes on the screen, you watch you learn to walk, to talk, to play with toys. You watch as your mother take you to the playground and then to elementary school. You see yourself in a classroom with a bully child standing over you, making you cry. You continue watching all the way through junior high school when the movie tells you to go to the next showroom, of which you do. When you enter the theater, you see that you're still the star of the movie. You recognize that you're witnessing the second decade of your life. You see yourself grow into an adolescent and then a teenager by the time the movie gives you instructions to go to the next showroom. By the third visit, you realize that each theater is showing the movie of you, every decade you've lived. You stop and become cognizant that there are 12 showrooms in this cinema, projecting each decade of your life. Wow, you can live 120 years. You watch the next two movies only to see that you're beginning to see the same thing you saw in the previous movies, except you're older. You remember that the movies were showing you your life of what could be 120 years, but every movie became the same after theater 3. You jump up and decide to go up to the projection room to see why the same movie is showing in all of the showrooms from the third one forward. When you enter the projection room, you do not recognize the projection director as you because you're not accustomed to seeing the truth of yourself. So you continue with your issue as though it was someone else you were speaking to. You ask, why were you seeing the same movie in the theater that represented each decade of your life? The director replies saying, you created each movie. You put each frame in sequence to show you what you wanted to see. You couldn't believe what you were hearing. You objected by saying that God made your life and that he was in charge of it. You continue with what all you believed about your life is what God wanted because you believed you were dedicated to doing his will. The director responded by saying, "You're correct about a portion of your belief. However, remember that there is a lie in the middle of every belief. A part of your belief that is a lie is that God is not in charge of your life. It gave you life, of which you are in charge." Stunned, you ask, how could you be in charge of your life? What power did you have as a lowly human to be in charge of your life? The director said that the other portion of your belief that is a lie is that you're a lowly human. It said God didn't make lowly humans. It made humans in its image, which is not lowly. The director went on to say, the great powers you have within you are that of free will and the ability to think, among others. That is how life movies are made. You ask the director, how did I make this type of movie? Seeing the same thing over and over. The director replied, you kept thinking about everything in the same manner and doing the same things. You became comfortable with the way your life was going in your third decade. So you stopped exploring the other gifts within you that evolved through experience, contemplation, and reverence. That is when you shouted, stop, change the film. I want to make another movie. You may open your eyes. I want to speak today about how to make another movie using the science of mind principle of affirmation. Now, affirmations are the basis of embracing the science of mind principles. All of the principles are founded on the belief in and of there is one universal mind, God, in which we all individually use. The principles are the ways to use the laws of mind. The philosophy is a mental practice that leads to spiritual integration. Affirmations are mental statements that connect us to universal mind, or God. That story was an introduction about how to make a life that shows awareness, enlightenment, progress, achievement, and abundance. The use of affirmations can be the beginning of making a life that, when projected or reflected upon, shows a deep knowing of the divine spark that's shown on everyone and to everyone. Now, as I begin this, I want you to know I searched the traditional Bible to help me refine my thoughts on what to share. And I used the metaphysical Bible to give me context for applying them to show how the use of affirmations have been given to us from sacred sources, the entirety of human recorded history. Isaiah 42:9 reads, behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. And 43:19 reads, behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Romans 42 says, or reads, and be not conformed to this world, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. The metaphysical meaning of Isaiah, also known as Jehovah, is salvation. It is the higher self that is within us, which discerns the reality, the real character of spiritual man, of fearlessly proclaims it. It is spiritual understanding. Isaiah also signifies spiritual understanding of the truth that deliverance, abundant supply, spirituality, and all forms of good come to man through Jehovah, the Christ, his highest self, or the spiritual I am. The metaphysical meaning of Romans, or the citizens of Rome, are thoughts and their activities belonging to that consciousness. Rome represents the head. The head is the seat of the dominating personal will, and also the intellect in man. The clarity I received from these verses revealed that affirmations could assist me to do a new thing and fearlessly proclaim that new thing. Now, as I said to you earlier, I don't have any how-tos. I'm not giving guidance. I'm just sharing those things that I have come to understand as I move along my path. I'm going to go down a list of things I know that affirmations are and how we may consider engaging them. And I do encourage you, if there's something that you want to say before we get to the discussion portion, please do so. As spoken earlier, affirmations are mental statements connected to universal mind, which offers a spiritual thought force or create a type of mindset. They are active thinking. They use the law of mind and the law of righteousness. They assist in establishing faith, imagination, and appreciation. They assist in establishing a spiritual entity in the mental world. Affirmations are the willingness to apply the spiritual formulas or principles in our daily life. They are definite, conscious, concrete, and explicit. They are ways to train our thoughts. They compel the mind to perceive perfection. They create thought processes towards unity of spirit. And they lead us towards respect and regard for humanity, which is our individual divinity. They create spiritual integration, which is a method of achieving a unified and wholeness of life that inspires a design for living and a unified purpose. And they encourage me to seek truth. The use of affirmations allows us to do a new thing and fearlessly proclaim to ourselves what type of movie we want to live and project. To conclude, there are two morals to the story I read. One, cinema or theater houses are structures that project illusions, that which is not real. We can change the movie we're living or seeing at any time we want. And second, God gave us life by putting itself in us. We are in charge of how we show the divine spark that is within us. And so it is. I will pray. I give thanks for this opportunity. I give thanks for this time. I appreciate my own willingness and your willingness and all who are present's willingness to hear and see and to be a part of this enlightenment. I place this into law knowing it is so, and so it is.
So we open the floor right now for anyone who wants to make a comment or ask a question, or there's any ahas.
Thank you. Thank you, Patricia. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
And an inspiring message and a great motivation for all of us to stop the recorder in our minds and to change the picture. That was wonderful. Thank you. Thanks so much. Blessings.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Patricia. We're all in showbiz now. All of us. Production assistants, stage managing, rolling the camera, director, actors, all of it. Thank you.
All of it. All of it. Yes. Wonderful
We're
job.
all a part of the cast.
We're all a part of the cast and the director and the audience.
But Patricia, I want to say it was really phenomenal. And really, when you got past 30, I started looking at my own life and like, Because look, I did some when I was 40. I did some. And so, hey, I guess I have to go back and look honestly. It's so wonderful. I love it. That was such a phenomenal presentation. I love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Come
for
and
that,
say it.
Patricia. May I say something? Thank you for that, Patricia, and for reminding us how affirmations can make a difference in our lives, represents in us to the importance of using the affirmations and acting on them, not only just using it, but acting on them. Thank you for the reminders.
Yes. And
Absolutely. Absolutely. You did an amazing job, Patricia. And thank you for the reminder that we are the director of our lives, and we can change any time that we want. Thank you for that reminder. Blessings.
It was a very beautiful presentation, and the movie that we're making, it's a movie, and there's only one person in the audience, and it is us. And a lot of those other departments are going because it's something that's very personal between the director and you. So if you're making that contact, then it's going to take you where you need to go. So I guess in a childlike manner, stop kicking and screaming and just go with the flow. But thank you.
Thank you thank you.
yes, I from my personal experience here, Reverend Alma is crying laughing. Yeah, when I'm like somewhere in the middle of my studies, and Reverend Alma would look at me and tell me, listen, you are the one in charge of all that's happening. Of course, I was into a lot of undesirable things, despicable things happening in my life, including, financial issues. And she would say, it's all you. And I looked at her like, did you really hear what you're saying to me? That I would consciously choose to have my life in this kind of messed up situation that I'm experiencing here. I said, no. And I was very upset. Yeah, because, she's telling me all these things that I did, and I know that I'm innocent of doing these things. Yeah, but listen, as I went along in my studies, I have to come back and say, thank you, Reverend Alma. Thank you, Reverend Alma. Thank you, Reverend Alma. Yeah, because I'm the producer. I am the actor. I'm in the audience. I'm everywhere. Thank you. Beautiful job, Patricia. I love it.
I just want to say one other thing too about that story and about the movie. As it was coming to me, the insight, all of what you've said is the insight that came as it was evolving, as the story was evolving. Now that is a story that I made up. I didn't read it anywhere else. It came to me for this time. And I was and what also became clear are the same things that you all have just acknowledged. They became clear to me that we are the projectors. We project out. We show others who we are by what we say, what we do, what we live. I didn't have an understanding of why I got to this place, but as I developed that story, as that story came in, I should say, it helped me to see that we're all one, and we show others who we are, and we show others who we are by what we think. And we change how we think based on the experiences we have, the time that we spend reflecting and thinking on those things, and recognizing the grandeur of what we are recognizing. This past week, I participated, and some of the others may have participated in the 35th Annual Congress on Illumination. It was a unified effort to bring peace on our earth in our lifetime. And then this past weekend, yesterday, as Reverend Mizia referred, Pamela presented another opportunity to unify our efforts, finding another way of making a kind of difference that can be made in our lifetime. That difference is that prayer, and as Donnie McClurkin and Yolanda Adams were praying for, was singing about that prayer, that those things that we see, that's also what Reverend Mizia spoke of in our inspirational meeting, that those prayers are those things that we use as affirmation. And my first affirmation that I remember, and that is, I see the moon and the moon sees me. God bless the moon and God bless me. My auntie taught me that when I first started talking, and I continue to say that, and I continue to say that. And I share that with you to know that I still look at the moon, and every time I look at the moon, I bless it and I ask it to bless me. And that is allowing it to shine on me, and I can reflect the light that I see from it. So again, I thank you all very much for this opportunity. I thank you, Reverend Mizia. And as I've said to you, I'm real clear about what I don't want. And I'm clear. Thank you again.
And
Thank you.
with that clarity, I know we'll be using the introduction to your talk as meditation.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful meditation as you led us through those rooms. So I know we'll continue to use this talk, you know, as a meditation in seeing the clarity of our life. Thank you.
Thank you too. And I want you to know, I opened up with an affirmation that I started learning. And the way I did, I just read it every day until I began to know and recognize it was a part of what I could say. And so the fully and freely, I fully and freely forgive, that means I'm letting everything go. Physically, figuratively, and spiritually.
I'd like to say, Patricia, you said you weren't giving any how-tos in your message. The whole message was a how-to look at your life. And as you use affirmations as the basis, that is the one tool that has been given to us from the mystics of today to clear our mind. The thing about affirmations, though, is that we don't stick with them long enough. We don't say them long enough until they become a part of us, as you did with your meditation and your first first prayer of I see the moon, and all these 15 years you've been on earth. You see when you see the moon, you bless the moon, and the moon blesses you. Dr. Holmes said, say it by rote, or say it, and our way of saying, putting that is fake it until you make it. That is, keep saying it, keep saying it, keep saying it until you feel it. And when you affirm, affirmation, as you gave the definition, affirmation is making it firm in your mind. When you make something firm in your mind, that energy goes through every part of your body. And we walk around and we say, I am wealthy, I am wealthy, I am wealthy, with a picture in mind of a stack of money somewhere in a vault, not thinking on the spiritual level, wealth is wisdom. And when we change the words, when we say these affirmations, the words of the spirit will come to us if we stuck with them long enough. Yes, that is a tool. And one of the best tools, and the only tool that I know right now, is to speak the word. And that's what Dr. Holmes taught us, to speak the word. Thank you so very much. It's been my privilege to hear you the first time in my life speak and pray, if you will. So it is my privilege to hear, to now know that you pray. I didn't know that you prayed until today. Thank you. Know that our solution is within us and that we created it. So we have to recreate. And we are at the place now in consciousness where everyone can change that movie. You can change movies. You can get up out of one anytime and go to that to Cinema 12. And that is just a reminder that we can go there, but we don't have to stay there. Thank you. Thank you. It has warmed my heart.
Beautiful. Good answer. Affirmations. You said, Patricia, that affirmations are the basis of the science of mind philosophy. And correct me if I'm wrong in hearing what you, in making that statement, because I was trying to write it down, but maybe I wrote it backwards.
I said the affirmations are the basis for embracing the science of mind principles.
For embracing, okay. Yeah. Okay.
I said that affirmations was the foundation of religious science. I said that as it is speaking the word, and religious science is based upon healing through the spoken word.
Okay, I got it. And I also love those scriptures. I enjoy, of course, you know, I love scripture verses, and to think that we have had this Bible with us for eons, with all these affirmations in there, telling us about how to renew our minds and to be transformed, and that we should do a new thing. We've had it there. Yet we keep doing the same thing over and over. Why do we keep playing the same movie over and over and expect a different result?
It's comfortable. It's comfortable. It's easy. It doesn't require any. It doesn't bring about any
challenge.
Well, not even challenge, because not everybody wants to be challenged. But it doesn't present any type of discomfort. You know, there are people who resist change, even though it may be a bad and hurtful situation, but because of the idea of doing a new thing requires effort in holding their attention on the new thing, does not bring one into embracing that effort or putting in that effort. Many of us will continue with the default, the same thing. It takes too much effort, not too much, but a lot.
A lot. And while you're speaking, I was saying, I'm wondering if there's something that is hidden from us, why we're not seeing that we need to change the film or change the theater, change the room. Because we keep saying these things over and over. We keep doing these things over and over and not realizing that. So I'm thinking that there's something hidden that we're not seeing, why we keep playing the same movie over and over.
Habits.
Ah,
I think it's conditioning, where as children or since childhood, we are conditioned through the different methods of teaching for us to accept that we have to look for somebody or something outside to do for us, rather than the understanding that you need to do it for yourself. And that's why it was created, the devil and so on, so as not to accept the responsibility of doing for yourself, you know. So that's how I look at that part of why do we stay in the same position and not make the change? Because of conditioning.
And we forget free will.
Right.
And we were when we were made in the image and likeness of the Creator, we were given free will. And that was pure. Free will is pure energy, pure love energy. And we took that love energy and created everything that we see: the pencil, the bottle, the clock, the car, the clothes. And so all of that energy was gone. Now, it is now time for us to recall that energy out of our creations. So we have no more free will, because we have now used free will is love energy. We've used it up. That's why we keep saying, tell yourself you love yourself 5,000 times a day, so that you can recall the energy or the essence of love out of all of the things that you created, good, bad, or indifferent. Free will is one reason why we continue to do the same thing over and over and over. And as Ashley said, we are conditioned, for one thing. Patricia said, it's comfortable. And we resist change. We resist anything that's new. And here we've been talking for the last 2 years almost, that we're in a new world. And a new world means a new way, new consciousness, new energy. And so for all of our creations, we shared with you that between July and September would be our most trying months, because of the energy is the darkest energy that of our own creations is now being brought forth for us to embrace and to love. And this is the purpose. This is why we say, whatever comes to your mind, whatever you feel, say, I accept, I accept, I accept. And know that in that acceptance, you are accepting the energy. You're not accepting the anger that you felt 20 years ago. You're accepting the energy from the anger that you had 20 years ago, because the mind does not know, the conscious mind does not know words. It operates on feeling, what we call feeling. And we label the energy as fear or anger. So what we do on this level, what our spirit does on another level, our task is to take our mind back to the spirit. And that is accepting all of the energy. And when you accept, and I think Maya gave a testimonial on last Sunday about accepting, because we have been discussing, if you will, each week for the last 3 months, the idea of accepting. the energy, and she finally decided that she would do it. And she confessed last week that she was relieved of that situation because she accepted. Accepting something without an understanding is what we have been doing all of our life. And I have made it a point to explain why you have to do, why you're using this, and the purpose of it, what it's going to do for your spiritual body, because we have 4 bodies that we have to bring all of the energy of what we've always done into our body. And so when we know the reason or the purpose, I like to use the purpose because there are many reasons. When we know the purpose of saying accept, then we are more likely to move from our position, to move that energy is moved so that we can see the truth.
Reverend Mazier, I just wanted to say that it's all right that you at times feel like you're stagnating, because that is part of growing also. And in conjunction with what Patricia said about changing, you know, the recording, the videotape, the film, however whatever metaphor you want to use, the thing is that you have the capacity to do that. We have to be patient with ourselves. We tend to want to get there. We want to get it. That is not the process of the divine creator. The creator is ever expanding through us. This morning, I watched a segment on CBS Sunday Morning about the gentleman who invented the cell phone. And they showed the progression of how it began. It really began as a process of phones and cars. And I know from time to time, I have made damning statements about cell phones. And I sat there thanking him because he was so optimistic. He said cell phones now allow even poor people, the poorest people in the world, to get access to reaching out to others, to getting information, to giving information, and also to accessing more money. He said it will help us in the long run, but we want it to be yesterday. So it's like Reverend Alma said, it's your free will. So people will tell you to sit and listen to the still small voice. I've decided I want a big voice talking to me. I want the biggest voice talking to me and telling me what to do.
It would have to be.
Yes. So that we can be in touch with the wonder of the ever expansive creator, you know, and it was great because a lot of the program was focused on people who have accomplished or are still accomplishing, like a 94-year-old woman who goes out and hunts lobster. I love lobster. You know, I was thanking her. And she's been doing it since she was 7 years old. So as long as we live, we have the capability to, through affirmations, and it doesn't have to be a lengthy, long, eloquent, you know, it's, I accept is an affirmation. You know, I accept myself. When I go down that rabbit hole, I accept myself. And now I'm always asking, what am I thinking when I'm not meditating? That's an affirmation for me now. What am I think we get a lot of, we always tend to look for answers, but I feel a lot of our growth can come from asking the questions. So the question I'm asking every day, what am I thinking when I'm not meditating, when I'm not sitting and listening for the big voice?
Wow. Yes.
And that keeps me grounded.
Wow.
Much more than it did
2, 3, 4 months ago.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Sharon,
you.
as we stay in touch with the ever expanding creator. Wonderful.
That's the fun of it.
Yeah.
That's the greatness of it. That's the wealth of it. Yes, yes, yes. The life, power, beauty, wisdom, peace, joy, wisdom.
Joy and, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you everyone for your contribution to this wonderful presentation today. We thank Patricia.